We are not afraid to die if we are all in it together by Gordon Cook and Alan East. CBSE Class 11, this is the second chapter of the textbook Hornbill. In this lesson, I am going to discuss short answer type questions and also some long answer type questions. Short answer type questions are to be written in about 40 words and they carry 2 marks. Long answer type questions are answered in 120 to 150 words and carry 5 marks. The links to the explanation of the chapter and other short answer type questions, along with the CBSE Class 11 playlist, can be found in the description box. Do check it out. Question: how did the narrator respond to Little John's words? What do his actions reveal about his character? Answer: the narrator could not find any words to respond to his son's remark. However, these words fill him with a renewed courage to fight the sea with everything he had. The moral support that he received from his children helped him continue with his efforts. Despite being injured, he retained his composure and applied every possible strategy to tackle the critical situation. He was determined to fight with the best of his abilities, which shows his courageous nature. It also reflects that he is a loving and caring father who wanted to save his children at all cost. Question: how did Sue try to enliven the gloomy atmosphere? Answer: Sue forgot about her swollen head, black and narrow eyes, and prepared a card which she gave to her father. On the front, it had caricatures, which means cartoon like figures, of her parents. She called them funny people who had made her laugh. It also contained a message that she loved both of them. The purpose of the card was to express her love, gratitude, optimism, and good wishes. It is also her attempt to enliven the gloomy atmosphere due to the threat looming over them. Question: what did the narrator think of after landing on Isle Amsterdam and why? Answer: after landing on Isle Amsterdam, the narrator's thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie, his crew members, who remained cheerful and optimistic throughout the hardships. He also thought of his wife, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. He thought of his daughter, who had been so brave all through the ordeal and had not bothered about her head injury. Question: how can you say that Susan's injuries were serious? Answer: Susan's head had a bump. It was quite swollen. Her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. She also had injured her arm. Her head injury took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull. This shows that her injuries were serious. And now for the long answer type questions. Question: what efforts did the narrator make to save the ship and its passengers? Answer: at first, the narrator slowed down the ship. He dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. They double fastened everything. They attached lifelines, put on waterproof clothes, and life jackets. After being hit by the first mighty wave, the narrator handed over the wheel to his wife Mary. He stretched canvas and fastened waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes in the starboard side. As the two hand pumps got blocked and the electric pump short circuited, he found another electric pump and started it. Then he checked his charts and started searching for an island, the name of which was Isle Amsterdam. He got a reading on the sextant. He worked on wind speeds, changes of course, drift, and current. He calculated their position, he checked and rechecked his calculations. They had lost their main compass. He made a discount for magnetic variation in the spare one and also of the influence of the westerly currents. Then he asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. They succeeded in reaching Al Amsterdam Island after 4 hours. Question: describe the harrowing experience of the narrator as mighty waves hit Waywalker in the southern Indian Ocean. Answer: a mighty wave hit the stern of their ship, Waywalker, in the evening of 2nd January. A tremendous explosion shook the deck. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. The narrator's head struck against the wheel. He was swept overboard. He was sinking below the waves and started losing his consciousness. He accepted his approaching death and felt quite peaceful. But suddenly his head appeared out of water. A few meters away, Wave Walker was capsizing, which means turning over in water. Her masts were almost horizontal. Then a, then a wave hurled him upright. The narrator's lifeline jerked taut. He grabbed the guardrails and sailed through the air into Waywalker's main boom. Succeeding waves tossed him around the deck like a rag doll. His left ribs cracked, his mouth was filled with blood and broken teeth. Somehow he found the wheel, lined up the stern for the next wave, and held it tightly. Question: what damage did Waywalker suffer as a result of bad weather? Answer: mighty waves struck Waywalker. The decks were smashed, water was gushing in through holes and openings. The whole starboard side had bulged inwards. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins, and toys moved around noisily in deep water. Their hand pumps got blocked up with the debris floating around the cabins. The electric pump short circuited, water level rose high. The two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard. Waves had also swept off the forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies, and the main anchor. There was a tremendous leak somewhere below the waterline. The boat's main rib frames were smashed down to the keel. A whole section of the starboard hull was being held up by a few cupboard partitions only. The hull of the ship had been damaged so badly that the pressure of rigging could simply pull the damaged section of the hull apart. Waywalker was so damaged that she could not hold together long enough to reach Australia. Question: what impression do you form about the narrator on the basis of reading We Are Not Afraid to Die if We Can All Be Together? Answer: the narrator, a 37-year-old businessman, was a lover of adventure. He had dreamt of going around the world sea voyage. He and his wife had spent all their leisure hours of 16 years developing and improving their skills about work or travel on sea. This shows his love for perfection and his attention for detail. The narrator was practical in his approach. He engaged two crewmen to help them sail through the rough waters of the southern Indian Ocean. He had keen foresight. They made advanced preparations to protect the ship and passengers against violent sea storms. He did not lose hope, calm, or courage in the face of difficulties. He had his priorities fixed. Repairing the damaged ship was essential. Everything else, including injuries, could wait. Moreover, He was a resourceful person. He managed to steer the course with the help of whatever had been left with him. His presence of mind helped him to overcome troubles. He had a level head. He made exact calculations of their positions and that of the island. He fixed the course and speed. His self confidence and practical knowledge made him a good captain. So, these were some important questions and answers from the chapter, and links to the other videos, including explanation and other question and answers, can be found in the description box and the Class 11 playlist. So, if you learned from this video lesson, do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel.